Уважаемые дамы и господа, начинается церемония подписания.
خانم‌ها و آقایان محترم، مراسم امضای معاهده آغاز می‌گردد.
По итогам российско-иранских переговоров на высшем уровне, президент Российской Федерации Владимир Владимирович Путин и президент Исламской Республики Иран Масуд Пезешкиан подписывают договор о всеобъемлющем стратегическом партнерстве между Российской Федерацией и Исламской Республикой Иран.
در خاتمه مذاکرات فیمابین جمهوری اسلامی ایران و فدراسیون روسیه در سطح عالی، رئیس جمهور فدراسیون روسیه جناب آقای ولادیمیریچ پوتین و رئیس جمهور اسلامی ایران جناب آقای مسعود پزشکیان معاهده مشارکت جامعه راهبردی بین فدراسیون روسیه و جمهوری اسلامی ایران را امضا می‌نمایند.
Церемония завершена. Переходим к пресс-конференции президента Российской Федерации Владимира Владимировича Путина и президента Исламской Республики Иран Масуда Пезешкиана.
پایان مراسم امضای معاهده اعلام می‌گردد. آغاز کنفرانس خبری رئیس جمهور فدراسیون روسیه جناب آقای ولادیمیریچ پوتین و رئیس جمهور اسلامی ایران جناب آقای مسعود پزشکیان.
Dear Mr. President, dear friends, I am sincerely pleased to welcome to Moscow the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Mr. Masoud Pezeshkian, with whom we have just concluded extensive negotiations as part of his official visit to Russia. Our country places the highest priority on further strengthening the friendly and neighborly relations between Russia and Iran. These relations are built on the principles of equality, mutual respect, consideration of each other's interests, mutual assistance, and support, which are consistently translated into concrete actions. This multifaceted bilateral partnership continues to steadily develop year after year. We maintain an intensive political dialogue. Last year, Mr. Pezeshkian and I held 2 meetings, including at the BRICS summit in Kazan. Our foreign ministries and security councils remain in close contact. Cooperation between Russia and Iran in economic, social, and cultural spheres is expanding, with strong coordination between sectoral ministries. Business communities and public representatives actively engage with each other, while youth, parliamentary, and interregional exchanges take place on a regular basis. In other words, our countries maintain large-scale and mutually beneficial ties, and we are united in our desire to build upon the achievements and elevate our relations to a qualitatively new level. This is precisely the purpose of the Intergovernmental Treaty on Comprehensive Strategic Partnership that we have signed today. It sets ambitious goals and outlines directions for deepening bilateral cooperation in the long term. In politics and security, trade and investment, and humanitarian fields. This truly groundbreaking document is designed to create the necessary conditions for the stable and sustainable development of Russia and Iran, as well as our entire shared Eurasian region. As I have already mentioned, today's negotiations with the President of Iran were highly productive and meaningful. They were conducted in a constructive and friendly manner. We discussed the full range of issues on our bilateral agenda and exchanged views on pressing international and regional matters. Naturally, economic cooperation was one of the key topics during the talks. Russia and Iran are important partners for each other in trade, finance, and investment. and the pace of interaction in these areas continues to grow steadily. Over the first 10 months of the past year, trade turnover increased by 15.5%. Notably, our countries have almost entirely transitioned to national currencies in mutual settlements, aiming to establish stable credit and banking cooperation channels and integrate national payment systems. As a result, in 2024, the share of transactions conducted in Russian rubles and Iranian rials exceeded 95% of all bilateral trade operations. Undoubtedly, the upcoming full-fledged free trade agreement between Iran and the Eurasian Economic Union, EAEU, will further strengthen Russian-Iranian commercial ties. I would also like to remind you that on December 26, 2024, the Supreme Eurasian Economic Council granted observer status to the Islamic Republic of Iran within the EAEU. We view this as yet another step forward in the development of Iran's relations with Russia and other Union members. One of the most crucial areas of Russian-Iranian cooperation is energy. A flagship joint project is moving forward: the construction of 2 new nuclear power plant units at Bushehr, carried out by Rosatom. The successful implementation of this project will make a significant contribution to strengthening Iran's energy security, stimulate further growth of the national economy, and provide Iranian households and industries with affordable and environmentally friendly electricity. We also place great importance on cooperation in the transport sector and the expansion of mutual railway freight transportation. Major opportunities are emerging with the development of the North-South International Transport Corridor. Discussions are ongoing regarding the construction of a key segment, the Rasht-Astara railway line. The implementation of this project will enable seamless logistics from Russia and Belarus to Iranian ports in the Persian Gulf. Cooperation in the humanitarian sphere is deepening. On the agenda is the opening of a Russian cultural center in Tehran. In June, Russia will hold Days of Russian Culture in Iran, featuring numerous exhibitions, concerts, theatrical performances, and other major cultural events. We are confident that all of these initiatives will receive a warm and positive response from the Iranian public. Expanding tourism and educational ties. Mutual tourism flows are increasing. This is facilitated by direct flights between many Russian and Iranian cities, as well as decisions made in 2023 regarding visa-free group tourist trips and the issuance of electronic visas for individual tourists. Russia is also assisting Iran in training highly qualified specialists. Currently, more than 9,000 Iranian students are studying at Russian universities, including approximately 600 funded by the Russian federal budget. All aspects of bilateral cooperation are closely monitored by the Permanent Russian-Iranian Commission on Trade and Economic Cooperation. It has been agreed that its next meeting will take place in Moscow in the first half of this year. Foreign policy coordination. Naturally, the President and I also discussed a number of pressing foreign policy issues. Russia and Iran share similar positions on most of these matters. Our countries firmly uphold the principles of international law, state sovereignty, and non-interference in the internal affairs of other nations. We pursue an independent course on the world stage and jointly resist external pressure, coercion, and politically motivated illegitimate sanctions. Our efforts are coordinated on key international platforms, including the United Nations, BRICS, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO. Syria and the Middle East peace process. While discussing the latest developments in Syria, we reaffirmed that Russia remains committed to a comprehensive settlement in Syria based on respect for its sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity. We are prepared to continue providing the Syrian people with necessary support in stabilizing the situation, delivering urgent humanitarian aid, and initiating full-scale post-conflict reconstruction. At the same time, we strongly believe that the future of Syria must be determined by the Syrian people themselves. through an inclusive national dialogue. We sincerely hope that the Syrian people will successfully overcome all the challenges of the current transitional period. We also touched upon Middle East peace efforts, particularly in light of the recent ceasefire agreement in Gaza, which provides for the release and reunification of Israeli hostages and Palestinian detainees with their families. Equally important, the agreement opens opportunities for a significant increase in food, fuel, and medical supplies to Gaza. We hope that these steps will help alleviate the humanitarian crisis and contribute to the long-term stabilization of the region. At the same time, it is crucial to maintain momentum toward a comprehensive resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict on the basis of internationally recognized legal principles. This includes the establishment of an independent Palestinian state that coexists peacefully and securely alongside Israel. Russia-Iran cooperation in the South Caucasus. The President and I also discussed Russia-Iran cooperation in the South Caucasus. Ensuring peace and stability in the region is in the fundamental interests of both our nations. Conclusion. Overall, this exchange of views on these and other regional issues was, in our opinion, both timely and highly beneficial. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that we are satisfied with the results of today's negotiations. I am confident that the agreements reached will further strengthen the entire spectrum of Russian-Iranian relations and cooperation. Of course, the signed intergovernmental treaty will also serve as a key instrument in this process. Thank you for your attention.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear colleagues, members of the media, Mr. President Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, I would like to express my gratitude to you, as well as to the Russian people and the Russian government, for the warm hospitality extended to me and my delegation. I hope that our bilateral contacts will continue to develop in line with our mutual interests. And of course, from today onwards, we will witness even greater opportunities for the expansion of our bilateral relations. As part of the neighborhood policy of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Russian Federation holds great significance for us. Over the past years, we have witnessed a large-scale exchange of delegations between our countries, and this process is still ongoing. We deeply appreciate the cooperation and commitment of our Russian colleagues. I believe that we will continue to work within the framework of trade and economic relations. There are specific mechanisms in place, and we have made the decision to remove obstacles that hinder our cooperation. We have conducted a comprehensive review of all aspects of our relations, discussed a broad range of issues, and reached the conclusion that we must continue our work in this positive spirit, not only bilaterally, but also regionally and on the international stage. The major treaty signed today will open a new and significant chapter in our relations, particularly in the trade and economic sphere between Iran and Russia. I am confident that this document, developed in line with the interests of both our nations, will establish a solid foundation for our continued cooperation. Iran and Russia are fully committed to eliminating minor obstacles in the path of trade and economic relations. We also discussed customs regulations, banking and financial matters, investment projects, and the visa-free regime between our countries. This treaty provides a framework for further discussions on these issues. I would like to emphasize the importance of Iran's observer status in the Eurasian Economic Union, EAEU. This is of great significance to us. I believe that within this union, we can substantially enhance our level of cooperation. Joint efforts and shared perspectives between Iran and Russia in counterterrorism and combating extremism also serve as a key foundation for our continued partnership. We discussed cooperation in the South Caucasus, Syria, the Middle East, and Afghanistan. I believe that regional transformations, along with the influence of emerging organizations and structures such as BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, present new opportunities and potential for both our nations. Iran and Russia's active participation in these regional platforms is of great importance for all of us. Once again, I would like to reiterate my firm belief that war and military conflict are not solutions to disputes. We support a political resolution to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Mutual respect is crucial, and Western nations should not impose their will on others. Regarding the Israeli airstrikes against Lebanon and Syria, I believe we share the same stance. We call for and emphasize the need to refrain from such attacks. We hope that the ceasefire in Gaza will be fully implemented in practice. In conclusion, I would like to once again thank my dear colleague, the President of Russia, for the hospitality and for fostering strong and friendly relations with the brotherly people of the Russian Federation.